Hey everyone, it's Desiree. So I wanted to do another episode to my Simplicity series. I hadn't done one in a while, so I just wanted to revisit that. So these are the two paper pads that we're going to be using. We're going to have a ruler. I love that ruler. A pair of scissors. We're going to make 2 cards and a pencil. So these 2 paper pads are from the Love Nicole series, and I get mine from my local AC Moore's arts and crafts store. I believe you can also now find the Love Nicole craft supplies for card making on Blitsy.com as well. I don't know if these are up there. I had bought these a while back, but these are really good. They were only $2.50 a piece at AC Moore, and they were just very basic papers. Great for backgrounds, and that's what we're going to focus in on this one, or this episode today. Just creating some backgrounds for your cards. Now, we usually use dies for those with the stitches and everything else, but again, these are just plain quick cards. If you don't have all the supplies, I mean, there's so much out there that's promoted, and don't get me wrong, I have it all. I have the majority of it. But, you know, sometimes we can't get a hold of that, or we're building up to that, and we want to try this craft. And so this is a great way when it comes to this series. So I'm just paging through these. One of them is very geometric designs, very simple designs. The other one is, they're all the same papers, just different colors, with flower doodles, or doodle flowers, however you want to say that. So we're just going to create 2 very different backgrounds. So my bases are white, 4 1/4, 5 1/2, top folding. And again, I'm not even going to use my grid mat. So if you don't have one of those, just take your ruler lined up onto the side, mark 4 1/4 in 2 spots, and then just draw a line down. I'm going to do that also with the second one. Then what we can do is we can just take a pair of scissors and cut along that line. It's okay if it's not perfectly straight. You don't have to mark this 4 1/4 inches wide. It can be the width of whatever your card is, or even if it hangs over, you can use the card base edge as your straight edge to cut around. This bowl here that I have actually had it since my sewing days to hold all of my pins that I just seem to throw, and thank goodness it was a strong magnet. Don't ask. And I'm going to use it for a curved edge. I now use this to hold when I'm using my dies, so that I don't lose them, because I tend to do that. So I wanted to create a smooth round edge. So I cut that on my one color that I chose. And you can also use this piece now that you just cut to create your next layer. But I knew the bowl wasn't centered. You all know me. I don't center things. I'm good with a little bit of cockeyedness going on there. So I just put that onto the back. I shifted up a little bit because I want it to be layered. And now I'm just going to cut along that edge that I drew. So you can see it's not perfect. It kind of looks like it's folding into it, which is okay. That's what I was going for. It took me a while to get out of the perfect lines, and now I love it. So I'm just going to use my art glitter glue, and I'm going to glue the darker one down first. You could put this one on top. I just chose to put the darker color down onto the base, and now I'm going to glue the lighter shade up on top of that. No foam squares this time, no nothing like that, but you are getting dimension when you add layers of cardstock, so it kind of creates a little bit of a stepping stone. So I'm just checking to see if I went over any of the edges. So now we need a sentiment. What do you do if you don't have a sentiment? Grab a Sharpie marker. Sharpie markers, I have boxes of them. I absolutely love them. Write your own sentiment down. If you're not comfortable writing directly with the marker onto your card, use a pencil first. You can see how slowly I write to make it look like this. And that's okay. Now, at least with the pencil, I now have a guide as to where I want that marker to go. So if you're not comfortable with just, again, going to the marker to the paper, use a pencil first. Yes, I wiggled the paper. The CPA does not need to come after me. You know who you're talking about. You know. And then you can just erase that pencil mark away. Again, just make sure your marker is dry before you do that. Ask me how I know. So for the second one, no ruler, no pencil. I'm just going to cut some strips. Now, I know if you've seen some of my previous videos, you've seen this. I think I did this a couple times. I know definitely one. It was, I think, from the October kit for Simon Says. So I'm just going to cut some strips. I did only choose 2 colors. You're going to see I'm going to change that. But I'm going to weave these pieces of paper. Yes, we can weave paper. And that's what I'm going to do here. So every other one's going to be on top and every other one's going to be on the bottom. And I'm just going to layer them. I didn't like the big thick strips. I thought it was a little off balance. Even though I'm not going for balance, it just, again, your eyes will tell you. And my eyes were hurting. So I'm going to grab a 3rd shade. So I went with this pale orange color, so to speak. And there's a mark on this page, so I'm just going to cut that strip away. And I'm going to cut 2 of these and just set them into this weave that we've created. So the one's just going to go on the edge, which is fine. And then I'm going to replace that other big blue one. They were just too thick. If you like that, then you can go with that. And now I'm just going to arrange them. And then once we have them set, we just want to put just little dots of glue on the edges. You don't have to go crazy with these, because once you get the glue around the edges, and you'll see I'll lift up the edge like this and just put a dot of glue and then just push that down. So once you've done that around the edges, it's going to hold this in place. And again, if they shift a little bit, that's okay. And then with that nozzle, I'm able to get up underneath it. And you can see it's pretty secure. So now I'm just going to play with this panel to see where I want to put that on our card base. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of glue along the strips of paper. When I place this down, I'm going to let the white show on the one side, but I'm going to take the strip of paper right up to the edge on the other. So it's going to look like this is coming across. It's almost, to me, it almost gives movement to the piece. Just like when we have a stamped image, we want to ground them. We don't want them, unless we're specifically looking for that item to float in the air like a balloon. But doing it that way, it kind of gives it some movement. Just a little bit. I know, it's right up there with my, with the rule of thirds. It's kind of strange. So I'm going to use one of these pieces of cardstock because they're not double-sided. So I'm going to grab that and I'm going to write my next sentiment. So I'm just going to use all capital letters on this. Again, taking my time, writing the letters. And I'm going to write the word celebrate. So we have a card that says hello. And then we have one that says celebrate. And again, just using a marker, you can use colored markers, you could use gel pens, you can even use colored pencils. So whatever you have in your home, you'll see I'm going to show pencils, a Bic pen. I love Bic pens. I just fishtailed the end of that, and now I'm just going to snip off the edge along the edge of I'm using the card base side as my cutting guide. And those are our 2 cards. So again, if you have tons of paper, which I know we all do, we hoard our papers, we collect our papers, use them. So there's the Sharpie, there's the pencil. I'm looking for a big pen right now. So we can write our own sentiments. To keep it simple, I do suggest having some sentiment stamp sets. There's some great ones out there, and I'm looking into what a good value would be. So these are the close-ups of the cards that we did. This is episode 5 in my Simplicity series. I am going to continue this. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I'm not going to list the supplies that I used. I do not believe, as I said, can't get these 2 paper pads, but pencils, scissors, glue, ruler, we all have those things. And you can see we can make cards with that. Stay tuned for the next video. The tonic is going to be coming out next. I had a ball with that, some issues too. But always remember, be creative, everyone.